Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making news overnight, a shooting overnight just west of downtown leaves 2 people in the hospital. Details coming up.
Plus, top drug manufacturers continue to develop a COVID-19 vaccine for children under 5 years old.
Outside with live cam, it's about to get very cold and very windy around here. We've got all the ingredients for a bit of a wintry mess, but how much of a mess are we going to be dealing with? We're going to check in with our team of meteorologists, beginning with Mike Osterhage throughout the day, and that's coming up in just a moment. Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, February 2nd.
It is Groundhog Day.
It is.
It's funny, it's Groundhog Day on the day before we get this winter blast, so it's kind of like, do we really know what he's going to do, right?
That's the question. So we're always a little tongue-in-cheek about the weather on Groundhog Day, but Mike wants us to focus on the serious side going into tomorrow because I tell you what, I just looked at one of your latest forecast summaries, and these wind chills are going to be no joke.
Yeah, I mean, that is still one of the bigger problems, obviously. The temperatures are going to be in the low 20s Friday morning, Saturday morning, wind chill temperatures. And yesterday, there was a little more confidence that most of the wintry mix would stay up in portions of the hill country. Now things have shifted a little further down to the south. So that does include Bexar County and San Antonio. Right now, not bad out there. Looks like it may be a little bit damp on the streets. We do have some fog, a hint of it around Bernie Stage, New Braunfels, a little bit of fog, Pleasanton. Very thick fog off to the east, Gonzales quarter-mile visibility right now, and some around Carrizo Springs, Cotulla. Like yesterday, it started to get thicker and move in, cover more of the area as we approach sunrise. So we'll be on the lookout for that. And temperatures are very mild. We're going to stay pretty steady in the low mid 50s throughout the rest of the morning with some of that patchy fog around here. And a couple of showers going to be developing later on today. Maybe a thunderstorm, a few more of those showers and storms tonight. Now, we did have the winter storm watch that was in effect. That has been updated to a winter storm warning for portions of the hill country. And also, it has spread to the east a little bit more. This now does include Comal County. Also, the Weather Service has put out a winter weather advisory pretty much along Highway 90 and 10. It does include San Antonio and Bexar County, and that means it does look like we are going to be seeing a little bit of some of the rain changing over to some freezing rain in the morning, about mid-morning as the coldest air comes on in here. But it does look like the colder air is going to move in a little bit quicker, as well as the moisture moving a little bit further south and maybe even sticking around a little bit in toward early afternoon. Going to get this all sorted out in just a couple of minutes. Sarah, Mark?
Much more to talk about. Thank you, Mike. New this morning, San Antonio police say an argument between 2 neighbors led to both of them being hospitalized with life-threatening injuries after shooting at each other. Shooting happened in the 100 block of Mercedes near Frio City Road around 10 last night. According to police, neighbors said they didn't see the gunfight between the 2 men in their mid-40s to early 50s, but later went outside and saw them on the ground with several gunshot wounds to the chest, arms, and legs. The men were taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Right now, it's unclear what led to the argument. This morning, Pfizer has begun the process that would make its COVID-19 vaccine available to children as young as 6 months old.
ABC's Faith Abube has a story.
This morning, the vaccine news millions of parents have been waiting for. The FDA now set to consider whether to make Pfizer's COVID shots available for kids 6 months to 4 years old. The drug maker arguing in its application for emergency use authorization that it's an urgent public health need for the 19 million children currently unable to get the shot.
We may see an emergency use authorization by the end of February or early March. So hopefully shots are into those little arms not that long after that.
If approved, eligible children under 5 would get 2 doses of the vaccine. Pfizer is still researching whether a 3rd dose, given 2 months after the 2nd jab, would offer more protection. According to reports, during Pfizer's trial, 2 to 4-year-olds did not generate a strong enough immune response to the vaccine, even after the 2nd dose. FDA advisory panelist Dr. Paul Offit telling ABC News the committee's review of the drug will be thorough.
We're not going to approve this until we're comfortable that we would give it to our own children or our own grandchildren.
Just last week, 808,000 children tested positive for the virus. But as the overall U.S. rate of daily COVID cases drops below 100,000 for the first time in weeks, pediatric case numbers are also trending down. Still, health experts warn pediatric infections remain extremely high. In the hospitals, expectant mothers are also struggling with COVID infections. Doctors say 10 to 15% of pregnant patients delivering their babies here are COVID-19 positive. Diana Crouch spent 139 days in a hospital bed battling the virus while 18 weeks pregnant.
The last thing I remember was me telling him that I didn't want to be put on the ventilator and I can die.
3 strokes, multiple seizures, and a heart attack later. Their doctor delivered the baby, who's now named after him.
When they told me, I was in tears.
Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
Well, that major winter storm expected to impact a large portion of the U.S., including right here in Texas. Heavy snow already falling in the Rockies, and freezing rain is possible as far south as here in South Texas. Also expected to drop a lot of snow and ice on the Midwest. Winter storm watches and warnings covering a wide area of the country from El Paso through the Midwest to parts of the Northeast all the way up to Vermont. During the storm, some areas may see a mix of rain and freezing rain before it changes to snow. More than a foot of snow is forecast in some places. Airlines have already canceled more than 1,000 flights scheduled for today.
Former President Donald Trump's claims about the 2020 presidential election have sparked fresh urgency in Congress for changing the electoral count. Some lawmakers want to ensure that no one can undo a future presidential election. Senators are working to shore up the 135-year-old law that came close to unraveling on January 6th last year. At that time, the defeated president urged his followers to, quote, fight like hell over the election. He also pressured Vice President Mike Pence to ditch his ceremonial role, presiding over the session and reject the results. Trump recently insisted that Pence could have, quote, overturned the election.
Whoopi Goldberg has been suspended for 2 weeks as co-host of The View because of what the head of ABC News calls her wrong and hurtful comments about Jews and the Holocaust. ABC News President Kim Godwin announced the decision last night, saying despite an apology by Goldberg, she wanted the host to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments, quote unquote. Goldberg apologized for saying the Holocaust was not about race during a discussion on Monday's The View. On Tuesday, she explained how she was educated that her comments on the show the day before were wrong. 437, about 53 degrees.
We'll still have lots of space heaters and portable generators will be fired up over the next 24 hours. We'll have some important safety reminders.
And things were looking good at first for the Spurs last night, and then it just kind of withered away. We'll have some highlights of their loss to the Warriors.
Take a look outside with the roads with our traffic authority. That's at I-10 at UTSA Boulevard. It looks like there's some kind of incident going on. When we learn more about it, we'll let you know what is happening.
And outside with Live Cam. We've been talking about it all week. We know this winter storm is headed our way. Need to be extra weather aware for the next 2 or 3 days. Mike's going to fill us more about what we know and what we can expect from this storm as we head into tomorrow. Good morning. Welcome back. 440 Spurs back at full strength last night with the Golden State Warriors only suiting up 9 players with their stars sitting this one out on a second night of back-to-backs. DeJounte Murray not letting his guard down, jumps the pass, and comes up with a steal, spots Doug McDermott across the court, gets him to him. He pump fakes and goes for the 3 and a 7-point lead. Then it's Derek White to Jakob Poeltl, who slams it home. He racks up another assist for Murray as he finds Devin Vassell behind the arc for the 3. He was one of 3 Spurs in double figures in the first half. Spurs by 8 at the break. Fast forward to the 4th. Murray led San Antonio with 27, including a 15-footer that gave the Spurs a 120-119 with 40 seconds left. But Golden State managed to rally from a 17-point deficit thanks to Jordan Poole, who had 31, including a go-ahead 3 with 18 seconds left. Spurs then try for 2. Murray out to Vassell with the lead, but it's off the mark. Spurs lose a heartbreaker, 124-120.
They deserve to win the basketball game. Hopefully this will be a good lesson for us because their offensive execution was excellent, and it wore us down in the second half. And if you notice, a lot of their shots came later in the shot clock. Oftentimes they were open threes because they finally broke us down and we made a mistake.
Up next, Spurs host the Heat tomorrow night. Tip-off set for 7:30 at the A&T Center.
Go Spurs go. 442 and 53 degrees. Still ahead, some important things you need to remember ahead of this upcoming cold snap.
And a first look at never-before-seen surveillance video of a man who stopped a shooting at a Tennessee Waffle House restaurant.
We are now seeing the dramatic surveillance video showing the bravery of the man who stopped a shooting at a Tennessee Waffle House back in 2018. ABC's Janae Norman has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, never-before-seen surveillance video from the Waffle House in Antioch, Tennessee, nearly 4 years after the deadly shooting in April 2018.
I finally get the gun, and I throw it, and I watch the gun. Looked like it was in the air for days.
In an act of pure bravery and courage ignited by terror, a customer, now the man hailed as the Waffle House hero, James Shaw, emerges from behind a door and confronts the gunman who had just charged inside the restaurant, eventually forcing the shooter back out. Shaw recalling the heart-pounding moments when he took the stand Monday for the prosecution. And we'll have much more on the trial and that surveillance video coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Janae Norman, ABC News, New York.
With really cold temperatures headed our way, you may be digging out the extra coats, blankets, and space heaters.
Before you plug it in, though, 12 on your sites, Marilyn Moritz says it's important to use them correctly and safely.
When flames ripped through this Eastside house just weeks ago, firefighters said it was a space heater in the bedroom that sparked it. Fortunately, no one was hurt. But every year, space heaters are linked to an average 1,700 fires and 80 deaths. Often it's not the appliance that's the problem. It's the person using it in an unsafe way.
Always make sure to keep space heaters at least 3 feet away from other furniture, curtains, or anything else combustible.
When plugging them in, go directly into the wall outlet. Don't use extension cords or power strips. These may not be able to handle the current and start a fire. A few more reminders. Don't put space heaters on rugs or in a child's bedroom. Don't leave them on when you leave the house or when you go to sleep. If your power should go out for a while, a portable generator can keep the lights, fridge, and other essentials running, but
these are not ever meant to be in an enclosed space or inside at all.
These run on gasoline and emit carbon monoxide fumes, so should be at least 20 feet from the house. Some models have an emergency carbon monoxide shutoff. And make sure your smoke and carbon monoxide alarms installed on each floor and in or near each bedroom have working batteries. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
All right, let's take a look outside with the roads at 447, 53 degrees out there. You're looking at I-10, the westbound lanes at UTSA Boulevard. Looks like there's some kind of construction and a ramp closure there at 1604. That exit might be closed there. If you're going to be in that area, just avoid it.
Yeah, it looks like one of those ramps from 10 to 1604 is completely closed right now, and we don't know why. Alternately, we want to take a live cam right now from KMGH in Denver right now, and it looks like a light to moderate snow has already fallen in the Mile High City. Much different situation, but the question is, we know that air mass is headed this way.
That's right.
And what will it bring us here in South Texas, Mike Osterhage?
Brutally cold temperatures, and yeah, we are going to see some freezing rain and some sleet, maybe a little bit of snow in far northwest portions of the hill country. We're going to be on the tail end of this massive winter storm and ice storm that's going to be from really Texas all the way up in toward the Great Lakes, going all the way through the mid-south. First things first, this morning there may be a little bit of some dampness on the roads there. We've got still relatively high humidity. We do have some fog around the area, just hints of it around Bernie Stage. But again, remember yesterday we had about the same situation. Then the fog started to kind of thicken up in places. We do have a lot of it off to the east this morning. Gonzales, quarter-mile visibility right now. Carrizo Springs, just 2 miles. So we'll be on the lookout for this over the next couple of hours, obviously. And temperatures are, once again, very mild. We're about 10 degrees above normal. It is going to be on the mild side today. Now, here's the computer model, and we will have a couple of showers that are going to be developing today, maybe a thunderstorm, especially out there to the northwest. And then the front's going to move through later on this evening, roughly 10 o'clock. We'll actually start to see the winds pick up later on this afternoon about dinner time, but then it looks like the front's going to come through about 10 o'clock or so, and that's when the really cold stuff starts to move on into the hill country, and we'll start to see a little bit of some sleet, maybe some freezing rain. Then that's going to continue into tomorrow morning. Now, yesterday it had looked like that the freezing line was going to be staying up into the hill country and not moving any further south. That has now changed in about the past 12 to 18 hours. Here's what going through tomorrow morning, even on the northwest portion of Bexar County, we'll have a little bit of this freezing rain, a little bit of sleet mixed on in. And even though there may be a slight break in the action, we're still going to have some around here. And actually, computer models want to keep a little bit more of this around even into tomorrow afternoon. Some of the sleet, some of the freezing rain. And there are chances that could see maybe a quarter inch of some ice accumulation and some sleet in portions of the hill country. Here's what temperatures are going to be doing as the colder air continues to filter on in here. We have definitely freezing readings in the hill country, and we're going to be flirting right along it right here, basically along 90 and 10, and we'll have temperatures again just right on the cusp right there. So we may see some of that rain mix in with a little bit of sleet as well as some freezing rain. And again, the winter storm warning goes all the way from the hill country up through Texas and all the way up to the northeast. And specifically for us, we have the winter storm warning in the hill country, the winter weather advisory along 90, including San Antonio, off to the east. From early tomorrow morning up through the afternoon hours, ice accumulation up to a quarter inch in the hill country, and wind chills are going to be brutal. And even here in town, we may see, especially on the north side, a little bit of some icing on some of the elevated surfaces, and that's going to be probably about late morning hours and even through the late morning and then into the early afternoon hours, early commute time, I should say. And again, that's going to be tomorrow through the day. Then we get the really, really cold air that's going to be moving on in here. Here's the satellite picture right now, and this storm is really taking shape. This is going to be a doozy all the way through the country, and the gee whiz this morning, 15 degrees below zero in Cut Bank, Montana. That is the actual air temperature right now. So that's how cold this air mass is. Today, 65 degrees. Couple of showers, couple of thunderstorms are going to be possible. It's going to be windy today and then very windy overnight. Then we're going to see that rain changing over to and mixing in with some sleet, some freezing rain, especially in the hill country. And there will be some accumulation on some of the elevated surfaces. Excuse me. And even here in town, wintry mix temperatures will continue to fall just below freezing throughout the afternoon. And then the brutally cold temperatures, 23 Friday morning, wind chills all day long, single digits, and 24 on Saturday morning. So it looks like it is going to be pretty messy tomorrow morning in the hill country and right along Highway 90. So that does include northern San Antonio, northern Bexar County.
So we're right there on that dividing line again.
As usual.
Now more than ever. Okay, thank you, Mike. 452, about 53 degrees.
Up next, Meatloaf's death is pushing his biggest album to new heights, and first look at a series featuring Pam Anderson and Tommy Lee.
A country star announces this year's national anthem singer at the Super Bowl, plus Meatloaf's music once again climbing the charts after his death.
The latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
You might think you know the story of Pam Anderson, Tommy Lee, and the infamous 90s sex tape, but the new series Pam and Tommy aims to show us the real story and how much pain it caused Anderson, says star Lily James.
It really showed how little I knew, and it completely, reframes the story, and we've dug into what I think is the untold story of what happened.
The first 3 episodes of Pam and Tommy are out today on Hulu, with new episodes each week. It might be the biggest stage of Mickey Guyton's career. The country star announced as this year's national anthem singer at the Super Bowl. And R&B star Jhené Aiko will sing America the Beautiful. The game kicks off February 13th from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Meatloaf's death pushing his biggest album to new heights. 1977's Bad Outta Hell now sits at number 13 on the Billboard 200 album chart, one spot higher than it originally peaked back in 1978. And streams of Meatloaf's catalog were up over 1,400% in the week following his death. And you can bet she's probably dancing a little today. It's Shakira's birthday. She's 45. While Girls star Zosha Mamet is 34. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
456, about 53 degrees.
Still ahead on GMSA, how ERCOT SAWS and other entities across the state and country are getting ready for this latest cold weather event that's set to arrive soon.
Tesla recalling thousands of vehicles after reports they're not obeying stop signs. That's coming up in Tech Bites.
Stephen Cavazos just walked into the studio. He'll give us an update on this issue that's happening in I-10. The westbound lanes at UTSA Boulevard. Looks like the ramp to 1604 is closed, but they might be actually clearing. He'll let us know in just a bit.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And making news right now, winter weather preparations continue this morning ahead of some much colder air and moisture making its way towards San Antonio.
Plus, look at how the rest of the country is getting ready for that blast of cold air that's already causing flight disruptions.
Yeah, we're going to see a bunch of those today, likely in the thousands. And right now, the clouds are in place. We're still hovering in the 50s. But that's about all to change in a very big way. We knew it was going to happen, but we're going to talk about more about what could happen with Mike coming up. Morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 2nd.
You know what today is?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're going to actually, is this live here?
Yeah, you're taking a live look at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, where Punxsutawney Phil will soon reveal his prognostication for winter.
According to folklore, there will be 6 more weeks of winter if he sees his shadow. If he doesn't, spring comes early. Records dating to the late 1800s show Phil has predicted longer winters more than 100 times. We'll bring you his prediction. That's coming up around 6:15 or so this morning.
All right, so that's the fun stuff. What's not fun is what we could see develop as we go in the next 24 hours or so. And here's Mike with more on what could happen here at home.
Yeah, things have definitely changed just in about the past 18 hours or so as far as the forecast. Going to get to that in a second. First things first, we have temperatures that are pretty mild out there as of right now, 52 degrees. And as you can see, the dew point is at 50. Not much of a breeze, so it is definitely mild. And we've got these little bit of fog out there. Bernie Stage at 4 miles visibility. Hondo at 7 at Pleasanton. Now a hint of it around New Braunfels, and then more over there around Gonzales and some down around Carrizo Springs. Now, of course, yesterday we started off with a little bit of fog, and then it started to kind of thicken up somewhat as the morning rolled on. So we'll have to watch out for this as we go into the next couple of hours. So a couple of showers are going to be developing later on today. There's nothing being picked up on radar right now, although the roads could be on the damp side. 1 or 2 thunderstorms are possible. Breeze is going to pick up as well. Now tonight we'll have a better chance for some of those showers and thunderstorms. Then overnight, the front's going to be moving on through here, and the rain in the hill country is going to be changing over to some freezing rain as well as some sleet, and that will continue into the morning hours, the wintry mix. And it now looks like the wintry mix is going to be as far south as about Highway 90 and 10. So that's going to be the sort of the east-west dividing line, which does include San Antonio, Bexar County, as well as New Braunfels is included in that. It is going to be extremely windy as well. Temperatures will be dropping down. We'll be right around freezing or in the lower than that, right around 30 by late in the afternoon. Then we have those just brutally frigid cold mornings coming in here for Friday as well as Saturday morning. So here's the latest. Of course, yesterday it was the winter storm watch that has been upgraded now to a winter storm warning for the hill country. It now does include Comal County, all of the I-35 corridor east of there, and then the winter weather advisory right along 10 and 90. It is going to be messy. We could see about a 1/4 inch accumulation of some ice on some of the elevated surfaces, especially in portions of the hill country and a little bit around here as well. More on what to expect and how cold it's going to be. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. Any problems out there, sir?
Thankfully, not just yet. And we're definitely going to be watching the roads over the next few days, making sure everybody gets to where they need to be on time and safely. Now we're going to take a look here at I-10 at UTSA Boulevard. Sarah Acosta was just talking about this a few moments ago. We do have some flashing lights out there. Thankfully, this is just construction that should be wrapping up maybe in the next few moments. But right now, we're not seeing so much of an impact with drivers because it's very early on right now. But as we take you to the map, we see that's detected right there in those westbound lanes of I-10 near UTSA Boulevard. Now, this is some road work that started overnight, but again, should be wrapping up around a little bit after 5 this morning. And that will be finishing today, but there will be more continuous road work there over the next few days. So just make sure you're planning accordingly. This is not not going to cause any impact for drivers as they get their morning started. As we jump out of the map, we're seeing that we're off to a pretty green and serene start on the screen, so nothing too bad that's going to cause any delays for the early morning commuters. But as always, make sure that you're driving carefully. Yesterday, we did see TxDOT crews that were out there already preparing the roadways, spraying it with some brine, so making sure that drivers, well, of course, can navigate those conditions safely if they do have to head out the door, perhaps over the next few days. But right now, we're still in good shape. 24 minutes if you're driving in from I-10 in Bernie to downtown San Antonio. We're looking at 25 coming in from 281 and Bulverde, and 26 coming in from 35 southbound and from New Braunfels. So nothing too bad just yet. But of course, we want drivers to be alert this morning. Make sure that you watch out for TxDOT crews that are out there improving the roadways. We have more construction coming up in the next few minutes. Mark, Sarah?
We're keeping a close eye on the cold weather about to head into our area because, as Mike's been saying, it is about to get very cold and potentially icy.
Jonathan Cotto joins us live with what you need to know to keep you and your family safe. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Max. Though the cold snap will lead to freezing temperatures, there is some good news here. It's not forecasted to be as severe as last year's winter storm. City officials are telling us that they will be keeping a close eye on wind gusts and ice on the roadways. San Antonio Police Chief William McManus says officers will be working closely with the Texas Department of Transportation to make sure that they close down overpasses before crashes happen. It's also important to make sure you have a plan. Get extra blankets, water, canned or dry foods ready to go. And when it comes to freezing temperatures, remember the 4 Ps: pets, plants, people, and pipes. Make sure your pets have a warm place to stay, cover your plants, or bring them inside. Check on those who do not have access to central heating, and make sure you cover your pipes. Now, Bexar County has already opened several warming shelters. We have a list of all those locations on KSAT.com. And ahead on GMSA, we're going to tell you what Governor Greg Abbott has to say about the state's power grid ahead of the winter weather. Mark, Sarah?
Thank you, Jonathan. Southwest Airlines says the upcoming winter weather expected to disrupt service through Friday. At least Southwest is saying it's suspending all operations from Love Field starting tomorrow in Dallas. American Airlines says it's also canceled the vast majority of impacted flights in the northeast and central parts of the U.S. That's going to be an ongoing situation. According to FlySanAntonio.com, a Southwest flight to Denver and a couple American flights to Dallas are listed as canceled already this morning. Also, arriving flights from St. Louis and Chicago have been canceled. We will continue to monitor for flight disruptions, but expect them to become more numerous and more widespread.
And as the winter weather approaches, CPS Energy says they are already planning to go into conservation mode at their headquarters downtown later on tonight, but they say it's only as a precaution. Right now, they're focused on a particular 24-hour period. That's tomorrow afternoon into Friday afternoon.
You know, we might very well see an ERCOT system-wide peak on Friday morning, depending upon how low into the 20s it gets.
Now, ERCOT says they are prepared. It predicts it will still have 15,000 megawatts available if that peak arrives Friday morning. CPS Energy says all power plants will be up and running to help, and they've already taken precautions to keep their plants weatherized. CPS Energy is also keeping an eye on windy conditions, which could also lead to power outages. And SAW says it's taken precautions as well to protect pipes and keep water service functional. But the company is also warning customers if you had pipe problems last year, it's likely to happen again this year. So they're reminding everyone to go ahead and cover and insulate any pipes that are exposed.
We've already kind of been chatting about this morning, but the winter storm is already affecting many parts of the country right now.
That's right. The storm is expected to stretch 2,000 miles. ABC's Derek Dennis has a story.
There it is, baby. We got snow.
This morning, a major winter storm slamming a huge portion of the country is expanding, stretching from New Mexico, eventually to New England. More than 90 million people under weather advisories.
I have 3 bags.
In Illinois, the Department of Transportation is warning of life-threatening travel conditions.
I'm super excited because I do body work for a living, so tomorrow's going to be a good day for me.
Parts of the Midwest could see up to a foot of snow, threatening records in cities like Toledo, Ohio, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Detroit. Missouri's governor already declaring an emergency. Airlines already canceling more than 1,200 flights nationwide today. Crews now racing to treat roads across the south where ice accumulation poses the biggest risk. Freezing rain is in the forecast for Texas nearly 1 year after that historic storm devastated the power grid, causing hundreds of deaths. The governor says the power grid is ready this time, but he can't guarantee there won't be power outages.
No one can guarantee that there won't be a, quote, load shed event. What we're prepared to achieve is that the power is going to stay on across the entire state.
The Dallas area could see up to 1/4 of an inch of ice. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Well, some sad news. A celebrity groundhog in New Jersey has passed away just hours before his big day. Milltown Mel offered his weather prediction of an early spring or late winter to his community each year. The Facebook page announcing his death did not say how the animal died or how old it was. As a result, Groundhog Day ceremonies in Milltown have been canceled after attempts to find a last-minute substitute were not successful.
That's in Jersey. Everything's a go in Pennsylvania this morning. All right, 5:10, about 53 degrees for now.
Up next, some important things you need to consider before taking in a stray animal into your home in San Antonio.
And outside with live cam, all eyes on the sky and an ever-changing forecast, as Mike's been talking about this morning. There are some updates and a few tweaks. What that means for all of us coming up tomorrow, right here on GMSA. Welcome back, 5:13. While it's tempting to take in a pet that seemingly needs a place to stay, especially with this colder air on the way, San Antonio Animal Care Services is asking you to really think before you welcome that lovable stray right into your home.
So according to Shannon Sims, the director of ACS, if an animal is in your care and reliant on you, you have a legal obligation to that animal, which is why he's urging animal lovers to really think before opening their doors about the responsibility and sometimes their danger they're putting upon themselves.
Comes with a huge commitment. You know, the last thing I want to hear is somebody with the best intentions in their mind getting into a bad situation.
So if you have a stray hanging around your home, Sims recommends calling 311 for help. I've done this before. It's also just one of those kennels. That's what when you call 311, have a kennel handy because sometimes they will not come to your home unless you have the dog or cat in a kennel. And then the ACS officer will come and pick it up.
That's kind of a fine line there about
Yeah.
what your responsibilities are and are not. Very, very tricky. 5:14, about 53 degrees.
So up next, how Netflix is letting users turn off a feature that has been bothersome for many for a long time.
What would you like?
I think
Everything is included.
gonna be falling in. Still feels like
Did you and your husband enjoy your stay?
Yes.
Visit secretsresorts.com/Love Unlimited for a special Love Unlimited package and savings up to 40%.
Join Planet Fitness today for zero enrollment. Zero, like a bagel. It's only $10 a month, cancel anytime.
Enjoy tons of equipment for zero enrollment.
Zero enrollment?
And $10 a month.
That makes me so happy.
Feel Fitacular in 2022 for zero enrollment, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends today.
Want fresher drives every day? Get Febreze car vent clips. Just click, install, and Febreze Steady Release technology uses your fan to circulate freshness throughout your car, so you can enjoy up to 40 days of consistent scent. Febreze Car.
In today's Tech Bites, a major recall by Tesla. A software update is causing some of its vehicles to slow roll through stop signs when in self-driving mode. The recall affects 54,000 cars. Tesla says the feature will be disabled in a software update. In December, the company agreed to fix its software because it allowed video games to be played while cars were in motion. Google is making it easier for people suffering from domestic violence to get help. Related searches will display ways to contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which offers support 24 hours a day. Finally, Netflix is allowing users to delete shows and movies from their continue watching list, meaning you can now get rid of those half-finished programs. Just select its card in the row and click on Remove from Continue Watching. Those are your Tech Bites, and have a great day.
Just about 5:19.
All right, Stephen, you were talking about it earlier. So TxDOT is ready taking precautions and brightening some of our area roads.
Right, and they're going to do the same thing a little bit later today. Yesterday, they were tackling those bridges and overpasses on the northwest side of 1604. And today, we're going to see some TxDOT crews out there spraying the road with brine. So make sure that you give those trucks plenty of room as they prepare to make the roads a safe place if you do have to travel. But right now, things are looking pretty good. You can see that 281 and Tacoma, we're not spotting big issues out there this morning. Just some construction spots, as you saw off the I-10 at UTSA Boulevard. That should be wrapping up in the next few moments. I was just talking to our friends at TransGuide, so some good news. Right now, the roads are quiet, so great way to start a Wednesday morning. Let's take you to the map because we did see a slight slowdown here off of I-10 in those eastbound lanes heading out towards Seguin. There is some asphalt work that will be taking place that started actually yesterday, but should be wrapping up a little later on. Right now, we are seeing that the roads are pretty smooth and easy at this time, but of course, always make sure that you plan ahead. Right now, as I mentioned, the roads have been quiet as we take a jump and look out at the wider look at the map. Lots of green on the screen. So, of course, we know that we want drivers to take it easy out there this morning, but no big delays again for your early drive. But we are going to, again, remind you that TxDOT crews will be out there spraying the road with brine probably around 9 this morning. So you can expect to see those trucks out there a little bit later on. Just, again, make sure that you give those guys plenty of room. They're just trying to make the roads a safer place for everybody, guys.
You bet. Thank you, Stephen. I guess, Mike, good news, bad news situation. Good news, we still have plenty of time to talk about this, but the bad news is this forecast has evolved a bit, has it not?
Yes, and best case scenario tomorrow, it's just wet roads. That's a definite, but then worst case scenario here in town is that we get some of that icing, and that's looking like it is more and more of a chance, especially northern portion of Bexar County. You think about like 1604, 281 interchange out there, 1604, 10 going out in toward the hill country. First things first, this morning, now fog in a couple of places is starting to get a little bit thicker out there around Hondo. New Braunfels is still doing okay here in town. And then off to the east, Gonzales, quarter-mile visibility. And those are the only real thick spots as of right now. But again, this will be one of those situations where as we approach sunrise, it's going to start to thicken up. Again, most of the state, except deep south Texas, is covered under some sort of a winter weather advisory and or winter storm warning. And here in town, again, in the hill country, the winter storm warning, that was upgraded from that watch yesterday. From about, say, 2, 3 o'clock tomorrow morning through much of the day, we are going to have some ice accumulation. 1/10 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch is possible, then sleet on top of that. And of course, those brutally cold wind chills, and then the winter weather advisory. And that was added. It's pretty much, again, right along 10 and 10 and 90 does include Bexar County. So we will have a little bit of some ice accumulation, a little bit of glazing is going to be possible because temperatures will continue to drop down throughout the day. And it looks like some of the moisture is going to be hanging around as well. So in the morning, there is that possibility, but even through the afternoon hours, that is still a possibility late morning and early afternoon. Even here in town and obviously in portions of the hill country. Different computer model than what I showed last half hour, but just about the same situation. A couple of showers hanging around here today, even a couple of thunderstorms. Here comes the kind of icy conditions and some of the freezing rain and sleet in the overnight hours, and that will continue in through the hill country. So it could be a decent icing event, significant icing event in portions of the hill country. And then this model does have it in the northern half of Bexar County by tomorrow morning with those temperatures, again, just kind of flirting with freezing. So it may be cold enough a little bit upstairs to have some sleet around here or even some icing on some of the elevated surfaces. And this continues on again into the early afternoon hours. And those temperatures, again, continue to drop down in the overnight hours throughout the rest of the day. And low temperatures then Friday, Saturday mornings are just going to be ridiculously cold. And we're going to have still windy conditions, not only tomorrow, but then also on Friday. So wind chills Friday are going to be in some places down close to the single digits. 65 degrees today for a high temperature. A couple of showers, a couple of thunderstorms are going to continue to develop. More rain around here this evening. Then that's going to start to change over in the hill country. It is going to start to be windy then later on, late to about dinner time and this evening. And then that wintry mix in the hill country in the overnight hours, early tomorrow morning, throughout most of the early morning hours. And it'll start to kind of try and invade northern Bexar County a little bit, and then we'll have a little bit of that mixed precipitation, some of that wintry mix, even throughout the morning hours and early afternoon, it looks like here in town, with some of that leftover moisture, and then those ridiculously cold temperatures. Like I said, Friday and Saturday mornings. Be careful with any sort of heating, as we were talking about with space heaters. Don't use anything from outside, bringing it in. No.
So the concern time for travel is potentially tomorrow morning.
Right, and even into late morning and early afternoon hours too.
Okay.
Temperatures are going to be staying below freezing for a long time in the hill country. So if there is any icing there, it's not going anywhere. I mean, it's not going to be melting. Obviously, the ground is warm, but it's those elevated surfaces.
All right, let your friends and family know as this situation continues to develop. We're going to do our level best to let you know everything throughout the day and throughout the evening right here on KSAT and KSAT.com.
Awesome. All right. It is 5:24 and 53 degrees. Up next in your morning spotlight, a big honor for comedian Billy Crystal, plus a new cast member joins the color purple.
A big honor for a famous funny man.
CNN's David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Billy Crystal is set to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's Critics' Choice Awards. The comic actor and writer will be just the 7th person to receive this honor in the award's 27-year history. The Critics' Choice Awards ceremony is March 13th in Los Angeles.
I just want to thank all the beautiful fans.
Taraji P. Henson is warming up her voice. The Golden Globe-winning performer reportedly is set to play singer Suge Avery in the big screen musical version of The Color Purple, an adaptation of the Tony-winning Broadway show.
I'm gonna get you out of here, okay? Promise.
5 snowed-in strangers in the middle of nowhere, and one is apparently a kidnapper in No Exit. The first trailer just came out for the suspense thriller, which premieres February 25th on Hulu in the U.S., on Star Plus in Latin America, and on Disney Plus elsewhere. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Just about 5:29.
Still ahead on GMSA, the latest on child vaccines, as Pfizer and biotech are requesting emergency use authorization for their 2-dose COVID-19 vaccine for young children.
Are you ready for an entire keg of chili cheese? We'll tell you how you can get a chance to win one just in time for the Super Bowl.
A fire that started in a pet's home also leaves a family out in the cold. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. I'll tell you more about that.
Big story is that cold air that we're going to be coming through by tomorrow morning, and when we can potentially see some wintry mix. Mike will let us know in just a bit.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 2nd, and we do want to go straight to Mike for the latest thinking on what could happen tomorrow as the situation and the forecast continues to evolve.
Yeah, it had looked a little more promising as far as here in town. That was yesterday. That has changed. Now everything is kind of shifted down to the south a bit more as far as wintry precipitation. More on that in just a second. First of all, been kind of eyeballing some of the TransGuide cameras as well as live cam, and it looks like some of the roads are damp out there this morning. 53 degrees. Dew point stands at 51, so it's kind of that dampish cool out there. And with that very high relative humidity, we do have some fog. And as a matter of fact, Castroville and Hondo visibility has dropped down just in about the past 10-15 minutes in both of those spots. A little bit of fog heading out I-10 in toward Bernie Stage. A lot of it off to the east. Gonzales is down to a quarter-mile visibility, and some hints of it there around Carrizo Springs and Cotulla. Again, this will start to get a little bit thicker as the morning rolls on. So here is what we need to plan for. Windy and brutally cold temperatures. We're going to be below freezing for up to 24 hours, especially in portions of the hill country. And that's going to be tomorrow through about midday on Friday. And of course, those wind chills Friday when we have temperatures down in the low 20s, and just brutally cold low temperatures on Saturday. Light freezing rain. This has changed a little bit now. North San Antonio, northern Bexar County, some glaze on bridges and overpasses. It had looked like it was just going to be all in liquid form, but now it looks like colder air is going to continue to come on in here, and the rain may be sticking around, or the precipitation may be sticking around a little bit longer into the day. And then freezing rain accumulation in the hill country. That's going to be starting in the wee hours tomorrow morning as far as some of that freezing rain, and could see a tenth to even a quarter inch in portions of the hill country. And that's that's why also that has been the winter storm watch has been upgraded to winter storm warning for the Hill Country. That's through tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, and then the winter weather advisory, and that's right along 90, including San Antonio, and then heading out 10, and that's where a little bit of that icing on some of the elevated surfaces with a little bit of freezing rain as well as sleet. Today, 62 at noon, 65 for a high temperature. Couple of showers, couple of thunderstorms are going to be possible this afternoon, and then rain will continue to kind of spread a little bit into the area before it changes over into wintry mix out there in the Hill Country, and that's going to be in the overnight hours. Also, the wind is going to be picking up somewhat later on about dinner time, and then especially late this evening as that front moves on through here. All the details and all the numbers in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. I'm seeing a bunch of flashing lights out there.
Yeah, not looking good here off of 410 at Culebra. Thanks, Mike. As we take a look right now, traffic moving through the access road there pretty slowly at this hour, but the problems that we're spotting are right here. What looks like it's on the bridge there at 410 again at Culebra. We're seeing that plenty of flashing lights out there, and a little bit further back, we're also spotting a slowdown with traffic. Almost looks like it's at a standstill. A few vehicles trying to navigate around first responders. Still very dark out there. If you have to travel through this area, remember the rule, move over or slow down for those crews that are out there to make the road safer. But right now, this is definitely going to impact your drive time if you have to head out there. Let's take a look at the map right now, because where we're seeing the impact there is the northbound lanes of 410. Again, at Culebra Road, almost stretching back to Military there. So, of course, you have to make sure that you're planning ahead, especially when we see these crashes that are starting to pop up a little bit after 5:35. The overall look of the morning is still pretty much green on the screen. We're not spotting big slowdowns just yet, but of course, you always have to keep in mind that in anticipation of later today, we're going to see more crews out there preparing the roadways. Those bridges and overpasses will be sprayed with brine, of course, in anticipation of the conditions that will be expected to change. But right now, things are quiet. And if you are traveling into San Antonio, 29 minutes coming in from I-10 and Seguin in the westbound lanes. Those northbound lanes of Livonia on 87 are 23 minutes at this hour. We're looking at 28 minutes if you're coming up from Floresville in those northbound lanes. So nothing too bad just yet, but here off the concern is going to be 410 at Culebra. Again, plenty of flashing lights out there. Vehicles trying to navigate through first responders. Just remember to move over or slow down. Mark, Sarah.
Thank you, Stephen. An attempt to keep a pet warm has led to trouble for some people. San Antonio firefighters say a fire started in a doghouse, then spread to a family's home. It happened on the city's south side, not far from I-37 in South New Braunfels. Katrina Weber is there live. Katrina, how bad is the damage?
Well, from here in the street and in the dark, you really can't see much damage at all, but firefighters tell us that this fire did displace the family who lives here. Now, they say they found fire on the outside of the house when they arrived here in the 100 block of Hartford a little bit after, or before 12:30 this morning. Firefighters believe that a heat lamp that was inside a doghouse is what started this fire. They say it then spread to the family's house and got up into the attic. All 5 members of the family did make it out safely. Now, despite all the cars that you see here in the driveway, firefighters again tell us that the people who live here will have to find another place to stay. Reporting live on the south side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. This morning, the FDA will be taking a look at data from Pfizer-BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine for kids younger than 5 years old.
CNN Britt Connery takes a look at the questions that still need to be answered.
It's one more tool in our armor protecting us against COVID.
Or at least it could be. The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for kids 6 months to 5 years old has been submitted to the FDA for emergency use authorization, and the agency's Vaccine Advisory Committee is scheduled to consider it on February 15th. Which means shots could be available for little kids in a matter of weeks. But a new survey shows only about 3 in 10 parents say they'll get their kids in that age group vaccinated right away. That's up slightly from July, but there's clearly still hesitancy here, something this doctor understands, having 2 young children of her own.
I would wait until we find that the vaccines are safe and effective. And I'm not sure that we can say that at the moment because we just don't have the data.
But a former CDC director is more confident, pointing to the data we already have on vaccines for other age groups.
They work and they're safe.
But he says there are other questions at play.
What the vaccine schedule should be is much more complicated, and that may take months or even years to optimize. It's probably a 3-dose schedule for lots of people, but we really don't know that yet, nor do we know the right interval between doses.
Answers will come from more data, but more data means more time. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
America's national debt just passed $30 trillion for the first time ever. The Treasury Department says government borrowing sped up during the pandemic as Washington spent aggressively to lessen the economic impact of the crisis. Since the end of 2019, the national debt has surged by about $7 trillion. Economists are deeply divided on how big a problem this really is, but it comes as borrowing costs are expected to rise. That's due to the Federal Reserve getting ready to raise interest rates.
A new study shows melatonin use is up in the U.S. and overuse could be a problem. The report indicates Americans took more than twice the amount in 2018 than a decade ago. The National Institutes for Health says taking melatonin for jet lag or overnight shifts or occasional sleeplessness is fine, but high levels of use are linked to dementia, early death, and other health complications. The FDA doesn't regulate the pills, so they could have harmful additives or more melatonin than actually indicated.
Right now, 540, about 54 degrees.
Move over beer. We'll tell you how you can chug a keg of chili cheese.
Chug it?
Chug it. Well, I mean, what else would you do with it? I wouldn't advise it, okay? Well, we're going to tell you how you can get one delivered to your home for the Super Bowl.
And outside with Live Cam, the forecast over the next day or so bears very close watching from all of us. If you're tuned into GMSA this morning, an important message and update from Mike Ostrage coming up.
Your morning consumer headlines. More Americans quit their jobs last year than ever before. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in December. Even that huge number is down from November's record of 4.5 million. Experts say it's the result of a combination of issues. Many workers are leaving for the traditional reasons of better pay or benefits. Others are retiring early, and some exited the job market to care for children or elderly relatives. It's left employers with close to 11 million vacant jobs to fill.
Your Super Bowl party might need 2 kegs this year, one full of beer, one full of chili cheese dip. Over at Sarah's house, Hormel unveiled its Hormel chili cheese keg, and fans have a chance to win it. The company says this is a fully functioning half-barrel keg that can hold up to 15 gallons of dip. The keg features a tap handle shaped like a chili can, a pump to pour out the dip, an adjustable internal heating element to keep the dip from getting cold. It's also refillable. Winning. Hormel has set up a sweepstakes page, HormelChiliCheeseKeg.com, where people can enter to win. Fans have until February 6th to enter, so just 4 more days. Hormel says it will deliver the keg to the winner's home on Super Bowl Sunday.
Who goes through 15 gallons of chili cheese?
That was my question.
And it's refillable in case you use it all.
So here's my question, because I think about these things. How do you clean it out before you refill it?
Well, if you're going to refill it, you definitely want to clean it out, but it's going to take a lot of work.
What a mess.
It's like a fondue of chili cheese.
Ooh,
yeah.
My arteries are clogging just talking about it. 544, about 54 degrees.
And next, ahead of the winter weather, a pet at the Animal Defense League is standing by to go to a warm home today.
Well, Michelle has the most adorable little kitten, that little fur ball.
Look at it. This is Amren, A-M-R-E-N, available for adoption at our Nacogdoches campus, and he is about 2.5 months old. The sweetest, fluffiest little ball you've ever seen.
That little face, that will just melt you. How adorable is
just melts in your arms, too.
So what you got going on?
Well, you know, we are ramping up for kitten season, so that's pretty much inevitable once the springtime comes. And so we are wanting to ensure that we are fully prepared for all the babies that we anticipate coming in. So we're asking for donations to help us stock up. So, you know, if you are available to foster yourselves, we would absolutely love that. But if you can't, you can also still support our foster babies with donations of things like, you know, milk supplements, you know, bottles, things of that sort. We can absolutely use them.
And fostering, kids can get volunteer hours for that. You can foster itty bitties or any size, and of course you've got the Amazon wish list, right?
We do.
Everything you need goes right to you.
And you can just go on our website, adltexas.org, and get all that information.
Okay, well, if you'd like more information about that little baby, about fostering, donating, everything, head on over to 11300 Nacogdoches or the Paul Jolly Center across from the zoo. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
548.
Stephen Cavazos, I see some flashing lights out there.
Sarah, unfortunately, things have not improved much here at 410 at Culebra. I was just talking to our friends at TransGuide. Right now, that highway stretch of road is going to be closed off as first responders are working to clear this crash scene up. Very dark, so we can't necessarily see how many vehicles are involved. Of course, we hope the driver is okay, but it's not looking okay for drivers that have to navigate through there. You can see even along the access road, it looks like traffic right now is at a standstill. If you do have to head out at 410 at Culebra, it may be best just to find a different route and avoid this area because it's unclear how long it's going to take to clear this scene up. But we know that first responders are doing their best right now. So again, give them some room if you have to travel through there. Right now, we're seeing that traffic that is moving very slowly, 22 miles per hour. TxDOT has since updated that location at 410 northbound at Military Drive, where we see that yellow, red, and orange stretching there. Again, make sure to find a different route this morning. It's unclear how long it's going to take to clear this scene up, but we'll be watching that closely. The good news is, as we take a wider jump out at the map, we're not seeing any other problems detected anywhere else, just some construction spots that should be clearing up here momentarily. But the big news is going to be those TxDOT trucks that will be out there later this morning spraying the roads with brine. That's going to be over bridges and overpasses. They were out there yesterday along 1604 on the northwest side, but today there'll be more moving in town at 410. So again, just watch out for those crews and remember to watch out for first responders here at 410 at Culebra. That's a big problem spot this morning. And just a note here, also got a chance to talk to TxDOT crews yesterday. They said last year they responded to over 8,000 or close to 8,000 crashes. So we want to make sure that we're giving them plenty of time to get these scenes cleared up, but especially in anticipation with the conditions that are expected to change.
And we want to give our viewers lots of time to kind of absorb what's about to happen around here winter weather-wise, Mike.
Yeah, and as I say, things do change. Even 2-3 days out, nothing's written in stone, and things have definitely changed between from yesterday to this morning. Here's what we're going on right now, and as you saw in those TransGuide cameras, first of all, that Stephen was showing, the roads are definitely on the damp side this morning, and now Burning Stage has dropped down to quarter-mile visibility. 1 mile Castroville, Hondo still at 1 3/4 miles. Hints of it around Port SA as well as Stinson. More fog off to the east. Gonzales, that has definitely thickened up. So we got to continue to watch the fog around here this morning. That will be sticking around through about midday. So as far as the forecast today, nothing has really changed all that much. Trim back temperatures ever so slightly for highs. Will be up around the normal high instead of slightly above that. We'll have a few showers developing, maybe a thunderstorm or two, and more of this rain is going to continue to develop later on this evening. Front moves through then late tonight. Winds are going to start to pick up somewhat later on this evening, about dinner time or so, and then the front comes through late tonight, and by midnight tomorrow morning we'll start to see some of that changing over to and mixing in with some freezing rain as well as some sleet, and that's going to continue on in the hill country throughout most of the early morning hours up through right around this time tomorrow. Also take note, and this is what has changed as well, computer models are now starting to bring some of that freezing precipitation into northern Bexar County a little bit more, and that's going to sort of be lingering around here throughout the morning hours. And again, the icing, and that's going to be some freezing rain, some icing, as well as sleet, is going to continue in the hill country and along the I-35 corridor. Also, it looks like some of the moisture is going to be sticking around at least in through the early afternoon hours and as temperatures continue to drop down. So here's what we are expecting. First of all, of course, the winter storm warning is now in effect for the hill country. This was the watch yesterday that was then upgraded. Also, it was expanded to include the I-35 corridor. And then the winter weather advisory has now been issued right along 90. That does include San Antonio. So in the warning area, we're going to be seeing some sort of wintry mix, be it freezing rain and or sleet throughout most of the early morning hours from about midnight and all the way through the morning commute. And there may be some good chance for some ice accumulation, 1/10 of an inch, perhaps even 1/4 of an inch. And that's going to be in portions of the hill country and the elevated surfaces. Of course, the ground is very warm. And then in the advisory area, we're going to be seeing a little bit of icing on some of the elevated surfaces as well as some of that sleet. As far as temperatures around the state, there's that cold air. That's what's coming in our direction. Like I said, the front's going to move through here. It looks like about, say, 10 o'clock tonight. So we're going to be up to 62 degrees today at noon. Cloudy skies, got the fog, maybe stubborn fog this morning, a little bit of mist, and then 65 with a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm later on today. Rain is going to continue to become a little bit more widespread tonight. It'll start to change over in in the overnight hours into some freezing rain and sleet in the hill country, as well as then tomorrow morning temperatures continue to drop down then, and we'll have a little bit of that even here in town tomorrow, and then brutally cold low temperatures still and wind chills Friday morning as well as Saturday morning. More coming up after this.
Coming up here on GMA, we are in the monster storm. Now there's going to be a couple of pulses, also not just snow from here in Illinois through Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio, but back to Missouri, Arkansas, even Texas. We're talking about ice, and then it all moves into the Northeast, including that freezing rain. I'm going to be tracking it all coming up right here on GMA.
And you are taking a live look at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, where Phil will soon reveal his prognostication for winter. People are just trying to stay warm right now. It's about 30 degrees there. We'll bring you his prediction coming up a little later on this morning here on GMSA. Well, coming up ahead in our next hour, the latest on overnight fire on the south side that forced a family out of their home. And the latest on an overnight shooting on the west side that sent 2 men to the hospital. We'll tell you what led up to that shooting. Stephen is tracking traffic with this incident, 410 at Culebra. A whole lot of cars coming right at your screen. And Mike has an important update for all of us about the winter storm headed our way towards the end of the week.
Good morning, I'm Jonathan Cotto. We're keeping a close eye on weather conditions, and the question on everyone's mind is, how is the state's power grid? We'll tell you what Governor Greg Abbott is saying coming up next.
An argument between neighbors on the west side ends with both seriously hurt and in the hospital. Tell you what we know so far.
Real existential threats to family survival right now, at a time when so many families thought that we had rounded the corner.
Everyone wants to move on from the pandemic, but for families and young children, that could take a little while longer. We've got the latest on the push for vaccines for children 5 and under.
And are we looking at 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring? We're live right now looking in on the celebrations leading up to Punxsutawney Phil and his forecast on this Groundhog Day.
They're getting pretty pumped over there. 54 degrees at 6 a.m. The big story is that blast of cold air that's coming in later today. Mike will keep us updated, especially on when we should be watching out for travel times in the future.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And good morning to you. It is Wednesday, 2/2/22, otherwise known as Groundhog Day. And Groundhog Day, of course, is fun, but what's about to happen around here weather-wise? Anything but fun.
Yeah, it's pretty serious, Mike. I know at first you guys were thinking maybe it's going to be more north of Bexar County, but now it's kind of crossed into Bexar County.
Yes, things have kind of shifted a little bit down to the south in roughly the past, as far as the forecast is concerned, in roughly the past 12 to 18 hours. And yeah, we're still going to see some icing in portions of the hill country. That's going to really start probably after midnight and throughout most of the morning. So that's going to be a problem with some freezing rain, some sleet, and on the elevated surfaces. And then here in town, it also looks like we'll see the moisture sticking around as temperatures drop down close to freezing. That's especially going to be in the northern portion of the county. First things first, though, we do have some fog out there. Bernie Stage was just at a quarter mile. It's now gone back to 3 miles visibility, but it's obviously one of the situations where it's going to continue to go back and forth. And we're also starting to see this fog invade from the east right there around Seguin. New Braunfels, a little bit of fog. Gonzales and LaGrange are both down to a quarter mile visibility right now. Beeville at 3 miles. So, and Austin, a lot of thick fog. So we're going to have to watch this. We're going to see that thickening up, and most of the roads are damp out there as well. So just take it easy as you are driving this morning. 55 degrees in town, really, really consistent. Temperatures are above 10 degrees or so above their respective normals. Later on today, again, we're not going to drop down all that much this morning. We'll have some fog around here in that mist. Then we'll start to see a couple of showers trying to develop around the area, especially in the hill country. 62 degrees at noon, and then a high temperature today of 65, which is just about normal, even maybe a thunderstorm. The wind is going to start to pick up, especially as we approach dinner time and then tonight. And then the front's going to move through later on tonight, and then that colder air is going to come on in here, and that's when some of that rain is going to continue to change over to and become some freezing freezing rain as well as some sleet. So we do have a winter storm warning in effect. This was that watch. Now that's been upgraded to winter storm warning for the Hill Country. It has expanded to include Comal County right along the I-35 corridor up in toward Austin and east of there. And then the winter weather advisory was added right along 90 and 10. It does include Bexar County and San Antonio. It looks like a good chance of seeing some of that freezing rain and or a little bit of sleet. And some of it's going to continue on even into the late morning and early afternoon hours. That's one of the other changes. So we're going to go through all that, see what low temperatures are going to be doing as well, and check out the weekend forecast in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos, big mess out there this morning.
6 a.m. The problems start popping off here, Mike. 6:03 right now. We're looking at 410 at Culebra. This is the big one right now. We are seeing first responders that have that stretch of highway closed off. And of course, this is obviously causing an issue for drivers trying to navigate through this mess. Right now, we are seeing also a standstill with what looks like that's on the access road. But if you look a little bit further back, you can see that stretch of traffic that has been building for almost an hour now. We did send a tweet out, and push alert should be coming soon to saying that you may want to avoid this area because as morning rush starts to get closer, we know this will definitely impact that commute time. Let's go ahead and take you to the map because where we're seeing that stretch is again in the northbound lanes of 410 right at Military Drive, I should say. And you can see it's not looking good. It's stretching back almost to Meadow Glade Drive back there. So we'll watch that closely. And we're also taking a look at stalls. Let's drive over here to US 281 southbound at Hildebrand Avenue where we have a stall that was picked up. It doesn't look like this is causing any impact for drivers in the southbound lanes of 281, but as always, move over or slow down. Pushing out of the map, we started Wednesday morning in a pretty good spot, but now as we're taking a look at 6, a little bit after 6 this morning, issues are starting to pop up. I'm getting word of a new crash off of 1604 at State Highway 151. We'll find out what's going on there as the morning does continue, but right now, these inbound times still pretty good. I-37 northbound Pleasanton to downtown, 28 minutes right now, 19 minutes for our friends in Castroville on those eastbound lanes, and 17 minutes if you're traveling 35 northbound from Lytle. So nothing bad there, but the problems are going to be right here at 410, and we'll find out what's going on at 1604 at State Highway 151 coming up in a few minutes. Mark, Sarah?
Thank you, Stephen. This morning, people gearing up for the upcoming freezing temperatures and possible icy weather. And with that comes concerns about power outages.
Our Jonathan Cotto joins us live this morning with how the state is preparing. Jonathan, so what is Governor Greg Abbott saying about the condition of the power grid?
Good morning, Sarah. Well, Governor Abbott is promising the power grid will be stable, but he is saying that there is a chance for power outages in the coming days. Now, some of those power outages, he says, can be due to downed power lines or other weather-related issues, adding that even a small area loses power here in San Antonio. That does not mean there is a problem with the state's power grid, and it will be restored as soon as possible. Abbott, along with other state officials, are reminding drivers to stay off the roads if possible. And here in San Antonio, officials say that they will be keeping a close eye on wind gusts and ice on roadways. And again, it's very important that you just keep in mind those 4 Ps, which are people, pets, plants, and pipes. Again, for any weather-related updates, make sure to download the KSAT weather app. Reporting live, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Jonathan. And as winter weather approaches, CPS Energy says they are already planning to go into conservation mode at their headquarters downtown later on tonight, but they say it's only as a precaution. Right now, they're focused on a particular 24-hour period. That's tomorrow afternoon to Friday afternoon.
You know, we might very well see an ERCOT system-wide peak on Friday morning, depending upon how low into the 20s it gets.
ERCOT says they are prepared. They predict it will still have 15,000 megawatts available if that peak arrives Friday morning. CPS Energy says all power plants will be up and running and to help, and they've already taken precautions to keep their plants weatherized. CPS Energy is also keeping an eye on windy conditions, which could lead to power outages. And SAW says it's taken precautions to protect its pipes to keep water service functional. But the company is also warning customers if you had pipe problems last year, it's likely to happen again this year. So they're reminding people to cover and insulate any pipes that are exposed.
New this morning, a family of 5 forced out of their home last night after it caught fire. Happened around midnight on the south side on Hartford near South New Braunfels. Firefighters are blaming the fire on a heating lamp that caught a doghouse on fire. The flames then spread to the home. While the family is displaced for the time being, there are no reports of any injuries.
It may not be long until little children could get the COVID-19 vaccine, and many parents still have lots of questions.
The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for kids 6 months to 5 years old has been submitted to the FDA for emergency use authorization, and the agency's vaccine advisory committee is scheduled to consider it on February 15th, which means those shots could be available in a matter of weeks.
But a new survey shows only about 3 in 10 parents say they'll get their kids in that age group vaccinated right away. Health experts also still have lingering questions.
Until we find that the vaccines are safe and effective. And I'm not sure that we can say that at the moment because we just don't have the data.
What the vaccine schedule should be is much more complicated, and that may take months or even years to optimize.
One Pfizer board member says the vaccine could be available by early March.
2 deadly school shootings here in the U.S. in one day, and this time security officers on a college campus are among the victims. ABC's Andrea Fujii has the story.
Overnight, authorities in Virginia confirming 2 campus security officers at Bridgewater College have been killed in the line of duty.
All of a sudden, we just heard a gunshot. We heard another 2, and everyone just dropped to the floor. We all just dropped and laid in the building, barricaded ourselves.
Just after 1 p.m. Tuesday, officers J.J. Jefferson and John Painter responded to a call about a suspicious man on campus.
After a brief interaction with the man, the subject opened fire and shot both officers.
The suspect fleeing on foot, the college issuing a shelter-in-place order. A short time later, police were seen here subduing the suspect, now identified as 27-year-old Alexander Wyatt Campbell. He's charged with 2 counts of capital murder. The motive for the shootings? Unclear. The 2 officers were known on campus as the dynamic duo. The college president saying they were beloved by students, faculty, and staff. President Biden tweeting, "Gun violence against law enforcement officers is sickening and it must end." At almost the same time, another school shooting was unfolding in Minnesota, outside a special needs school near Minneapolis. 1 student was killed, another left in critical condition. Police later arrested 2 suspects. An investigation into what prompted the shooting is underway.
This is a terrible tragedy and loss.
And more tense moments at historically black colleges and universities across the country. At least a dozen HBCUs were forced into lockdown Tuesday, some for the 2nd consecutive day due to bomb threats. One college president saying the timing, coinciding with the start of Black History Month, is no coincidence. No explosives have been found. Meanwhile, the shootings in Virginia and Minnesota come after a record-setting year of violence on school campuses, with nearly 200 incidents of gunfire reported. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
6:11, about 54 degrees.
All right, it's Groundhog Day, and we're taking a live look. The world is waiting to see if Punxsutawney Phil will see his shadow. They are getting pretty hyped up there in Punxsutawney. I think any time now, maybe around 6:15, he'll come out and decide whether or not what we're going to do this spring.
Yeah, it looks like they're, wow, what a crowd on hand there in Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania. We'll keep tabs on that situation, and we'll also tell you why you might want to think twice before bringing stray animals in off the streets and into your home.
The big story this morning is that cold air coming in. Mike will have all the details and what you need to know when we come back. So when you see a stray dog or cat walking around your neighborhood, do you ever consider bringing it inside to your house?
Of course you do. We all do. San Antonio Animal Care Services asking you really think before you welcome in that lovable stray. According to Shannon Sims, director of ACS, if an animal is in your care and reliant on you, you have a legal obligation to that animal.
It comes with a huge commitment. You know, the last thing I want to hear is somebody with the best intentions in their mind getting into a bad situation.
So if you have a stray hanging around your home, Sims recommends actually directly calling City Services at 311 and not allowing the animal into your home. ACS will come pick it up so you don't have any legal responsibility for the animal. Let the city take care of it, according to the city.
All right, and today we'll find out if we're in store for more cold days or if an early spring is in our future.
And that's because it is Groundhog Day. That lovable, furry, yet unreliable forecaster, Punxsutawney Phil, will wake up from hibernation. And looks like things are about to get going there in Gobbler's Knob. Legend has it, of course, if he sees his shadow, we see 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't, warmer temperatures could be coming our way.
While Pennsylvania's Punxsutawney Phil is the most famous groundhog, other states also participate in the tradition with their own groundhogs. While it's a fun superstition, of course, there is no evidence that suggests a link between the groundhog shadow and any change in the weather.
Yeah, the famous groundhog in New Jersey passed away just days ago.
I know.
Right before the big event.
They couldn't get a substitute in time.
Yep, so we're going to monitor the situation there in Gobbler's Knob and let you know. But the most important thing is what is about to happen around here weather-wise. That is coming up after this.
After traffic, Stephen, I see some flashing lights out there.
Yeah, traffic's important too, so we want to make sure that drivers are planning accordingly, especially this morning where we're seeing a few issues out there that they're definitely going to want to avoid. Here is 1604 State Highway 151. This was a scene that if you were with us earlier, we told you about, we were reporting, we're seeing that traffic is moving through there pretty easily, but it doesn't look good in this particular shot at TransGuide. From what we've been able to make out, it does look like one vehicle is off there in the grassy median and one a little bit further up with their emergency lights on. Hopefully those drivers are okay, but we're not necessarily seeing so much of an impact with drivers that are trying to navigate through those northbound lanes of 1604 near Culebra. Again, watch out for that, but not the only issue. We take a drive down over here to 410 northbound at Military Drive. This was the big issue because you can see this is what's impacting traffic right now. TxDOT has told us that we do know that that stretch of the highway is closed off as first responders are working to clear that up, but definitely going to be a mess, especially with morning rush inches away from starting. So we'll continue to watch that, and we're still keeping our eye on this stall. 281 southbound at Hildebrand Avenue. That also has been an issue for drivers out there, but nothing too big right now. However, 618, we are starting to see those problems pop up on our map. So remember to drive carefully. Avoid those areas where you see the crash scene, especially off of 410 at Culebra. But right now, we're going to keep our eyes on these situations. This one here of 1604 at State Highway 151. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. Mike wants us to pay extra close attention to a forecast that has changed.
Yes, indeed. First of all, starting this morning, because we want to get right to the map. In town, fog is not bad. The roads are definitely damp, as you saw on some of those TransGuide cameras. But take a look in surrounding areas where visibility is continuing to drop off. Got a little bit ahead out 90. Castrol has actually improved. Go up 10, you're going to run into some of that fog. But especially off to the east, we've got the very thick fog, LaGrange, Gonzales, pretty good around there, Beeville, and then up by Fredericksburg. Also, fog is now starting to develop, and a dense fog advisory was just issued for our eastern and southern counties up until 9 o'clock this morning. So this is going to be very stubborn, sticking around here, and then, of course, it may start to kind of close in a little bit more to the west. So we'll just be on the lookout for that, as well as the damp roads. All right. Also, as far as the changes tomorrow, the winter storm watch, which was in effect for the Hill Country, has been upgraded now to a winter storm warning, and also that was expanded to include the I-35 corridor, including New Braunfels and further off to the east. And then the winter weather advisory was issued, and that's right along 90. San Antonio's included in that, and then going out 10. So in the warning area, and we're going to start to see rain changing over to freezing rain and some sleet, and that's going to be probably just after midnight and through even tomorrow. So there could be, and this is looking like it's not a sure thing, but very likely an accumulation up to 1/4 of an inch, and wind chill temperatures are going to be very, very cold. In the winter weather advisory area, there will be a little bit of some ice accumulation, because especially on those elevated surfaces. Now, as far as the exact timing here in town, it looks like it is going to be perhaps later on in the morning, not first thing in the morning. Here's computer model. This is the rapid update model, updates itself, and a lot of models are now in agreement as far as how much further south this is going to be pushing. So there's that freezing rain and sleet in parts of the Hill Country. that begins in the wee hours tomorrow morning, continues on through the morning commute. Some of that just grazing northern portions of Bexar County, and that will continue on. The other thing that has changed is moisture is going to be sticking around in through the early afternoon hours as well. So even if it's not affecting your morning drive, we may have some sleet, some freezing rain, even into the about noontime and early afternoon, like I said. And then temperatures tomorrow, they will continue to drop down. We stay below freezing. Starting off in the wee hours tomorrow morning in the hill country. It's going to be an extended period, about, say, 24, 36 hours below freezing in parts of the hill country. So if things do ice up, it's not going to melt anytime soon. Obviously, the ground is very warm, but it's those elevated surfaces. And then we're going to be just right around that freezing mark all the way through the afternoon hours tomorrow. Low temperatures then Friday morning, Saturday morning, low 20s, and wind chill temperatures, because the wind's going to be windy tonight, tomorrow, and early Friday. Wind chill temperatures are going to be brutally cold on Friday morning, down in the single digits. So forecast today. Fog this morning, clouds around at noon, and some of that fog may be stubborn and some of that mist. Then we'll have a few showers developing later on this afternoon, even a couple of thunderstorms or two, and then those will kind of continue tonight and then in the overnight hours, and then that starts to change over into some of the freezing rain and sleet in portions of the hill country in the overnight hours through tomorrow morning, and it's going to be that real close call with the temperatures here in town, but then we do have the chance that it could be sticking around even into, say, mid-morning, early afternoon, and those temperatures will be about 30 or so throughout the afternoon, and then those lows in the low 20s Friday and Saturday mornings.
That message is pretty clear, and we want people to share that with your family and friends, get the word out, and of course, tune it to all our meteorologists throughout all our newscasts, online, on air, KSAT.com.
Big impact's going to be in the hill country with some of that accumulation of the freezing rain and the icing.
Just the worry there is we're right there on that line.
Tomorrow early morning through late overnight.
Overnight tonight through about even midday tomorrow.
It's going to be the iffy travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we've got you covered, folks. We just need to get through this together. 622, about 55 degrees.
So are you ready for the Super Bowl? Preparations are underway in Los Angeles for the big game. We'll have more after that. The break.
Why hide your skin if Dupixent has your moderate to severe eczema or atopic dermatitis under control?
Hide our skin, not us.
Because Dupixent targets a root cause of eczema, it helps heal your skin from within, keeping you one step ahead of it. And for kids ages 6 and up, that means clearer skin and noticeably less itch.
Hide my skin? Not me.
By helping to control eczema with Dupixent, you can change how their skin looks and feels. And that's the kind of change you notice.
Hide my skin? Not me.
Don't use if you're allergic to Dupixent. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. When you help heal your skin from within, you can show more with less eczema. Talk to your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent, a breakthrough eczema treatment.
Groundhog Day.
That's right, and we're about to find out if we have more cold days in store, if the spring is in future, and I believe the groundhog is actually out now.
Let's take a look and see.
Had returned with glee.
Okay, here we go. So this is part of the formal reading of the prognostication.
Wherein Groundhog Ease, he directed the president, Jeff Lundy, and the inner circle to his prediction scroll that reads, "Winter has been bleak, dark, and bereft of hope. Yet winter is just another step in the cycle of life. As I look over the faces of the true believers from around the world, Leslie, please. I bask in the warmth of your hearts. I couldn't imagine a better fate. With my shadow I have cast than a long, lustrous 6 more weeks of winter."
All right,
that's it.
Official.
Yep, no early spring. And if you look at the weather map today, you'll be like, duh.
Yeah. Yeah, go back inside, Phil. What are you thinking?
All right, so the latest out of Groundhog Day. 6 more weeks.
Unfortunately.
And look at the crowd's like, yeah,
Yay,
6 more weeks, and then they go home.
Yeah.
6:27, about 55 degrees.
Ahead in our next half hour, GMSA, 2 women rescued from a burning home near Chicago. That fire all caught on camera. We'll have more.
Firefighters say a fire in a doghouse caused big problems for some people. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. They say that fire spread to the family's home. I'll tell you all about it.
As the region braces for freezing temperatures, Governor Greg Abbott says the state of the power grid is stable. CPS Energy taking precautionary measures. We'll tell you more.
Outside with Live Cam, we know that colder air is on the way. There will be moisture around, and Mike says the forecast has changed. What that means for all of us coming up.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 2nd, 2022.
It's Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's Wednesday.
2/22. It is, yes. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's get right to Mike with the latest on what's going on out there as far as the forecast, because as we hinted very strongly, things have changed in the forecast.
Yes, it was looking a little more encouraging. I mean, all along we've been talking about the freezing rain and sleet in portions of the hill country, and that it was going to be kind of confined up there. Now it's starting to edge south a little bit further, and that's going to be tomorrow, and even maybe sticking around through the morning hours, at least some of those freezing temperatures and some of that moisture. First of all, though, we've got temperatures right now very mild. Look at the dew point, neck and neck with that temperature. So relative humidity is quite high. No wind out there to speak of, and those are some of the ingredients for some fog. So head out 10, Burning Stage, you got some fog. Randolph is now, it's creeping in there. New Braunfels is starting to drop down a little bit. Castroville, Hondo, and then further off to the east is where the thickest fog is, and there is a dense fog advisory in effect for our extreme eastern counties up until 9 o'clock this morning. Again, very consistent temperatures as of right now. Mold is moderate, mountain cedar is low. Mold went up significantly from the previous day's reading. Of course, the updated count is going to be coming out in about a half hour, 45 minutes. A couple of showers, a couple of thunderstorms later on today. We've got mist out there right now, and the roads are damp, and the wind's going to start to pick up later on today, but the front's actually going to move through then late tonight, about say 10, 11 o'clock tonight. It will get colder, and then rain is going to turn over into some of that freezing rain and sleet in portions of the hill country. And that'll be after midnight and through the early morning hours tomorrow. And that wintry mix, and it looks like it may get as far south as about Highway 90 and I-10. That includes obviously San Antonio and Bexar County. So there's a chance for a little bit of that on some of the elevated surfaces, some of that icing. That's a possibility. And very, very windy tomorrow. So wind chills are going to be a factor. And then the frigid cold temperatures Friday morning as well as Saturday morning. And it's still going to be very windy Friday morning, so we're looking at some brutally cold wind chills on Friday morning. Winter storm warning, the pink shaded area for the hill country. That was upgraded from the watch yesterday, and it's also been expanded to include New Braunfels now, the I-35 corridor east of there, and then the winter storm advisory right along 10 and 90, including San Antonio. And this is in effect up until 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. We're going to show you just who may see how much freezing rain, the potential there, and how cold those temperatures are going to be getting. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic authorities, Stephen Cavasso, still got all those problems out there?
You know, thankfully, everything seems to have been cleared out, Mike. 410 at Culebra, if you've been with us throughout the morning, you know that was a big problem spot. 16 and 14 Highway 151, also another problem spot where we saw plenty of first responders out there working to clear up these crash scenes. But right now, looks like traffic is tranquil and things are moving as San Antonio continues to wake up. Now, let's go ahead and take a look right now. This crash was there detected off 1604 northbound at Culebra Road, and I just disappeared for whatever reason, but we're going to continue with traffic there at Culebra. Abracadabra, just came back. All right. 1604 northbound at Culebra Road. That crash thankfully cleared out. But let's take a jump and drive down over here. We're still seeing that stretch of traffic off 410 northbound at Military Drive, despite that crash scene clearing. Taking another wider look at the map, we are in better shape now that these crash scenes have cleared. Again, just seeing those slight slowdowns. If you are just waking up with us, make sure to prepare accordingly. But it does look like that could clear out before morning rush gets here. Let's take a look at these inbound times. We are green across the board. No delays just yet. Same as always, 24 minutes if you're coming in from Livonia on 87. So just remember that. But right now, things look like they're in better shape than where we had started. We'll continue to watch the roads and give you all those updates as the morning does go on. Mark, Sarah?
Thank you, Stephen. And we're keeping a close eye on that cold weather that's about to head into our area because, as Mike has been saying, it's about to get really, really cold.
And potentially icy. Jonathan Cota joins us live with what you need to know to keep you and your family safe. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning. Well, right now we do know CPS, of course, is planning on going in conservation mode in their downtown headquarters. And what they're saying is they're doing this as a precaution right now. They say CPS will keep all power plants up and running to help. They've already taken precautions to keep their plants weatherized. They're also keeping an eye on windy conditions, which could also lead to power outages. And SAW says is taking precautions to protect pipes and keep water service functional. But the company is already warning the public that if you had problems with pipes last year, to make sure you're taking those steps necessary this year to avoid any complications. Mark, Sarah?
Thank you very much, Jonathan. All right, the upcoming winter weather expected to disrupt airline service through at least Friday. Southwest Airlines says it's suspending all operations from Dallas Love Field starting tomorrow. American says it's already canceled the vast majority of impacted flights in the Northeast and some central parts of the U.S. And according to FlySanAntonio.com, a Southwest flight to Denver and a couple American flights to Dallas are already listed as canceled. Flights arriving from St. Louis and Chicago have also been canceled. We will continue to monitor flight disruptions, and if you're traveling, you should too. There is other news this morning. A fire that started in a doghouse has some people looking for another place to stay. San Antonio firefighters say the flames in the doghouse jumped to the family's south side home, causing damage.
That fire broke out before 12:30 this morning. It's not far from I-37 in South New Braunfels. Our Katrina Weber there is live. Now, Katrina, did they figure out how this fire started?
Yeah, firefighters say there was a heat lamp being used inside that doghouse. That caused the flames in the doghouse, which then jumped to the family's home. Now, all 5 members of the family had already made it out safely when firefighters arrived before 12:30 this morning. Investigators say that it looks like the fire spread from the doghouse to the outside of the family's home here in the 100 block of Hartford. It then made its way all the way into the attic of the family's house. From the outside and here in the dark, we really can't notice much damage at all. But again, firefighters say that this fire was enough to displace all 5 members of that family. Reporting live on the south side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Firefighters had their hands full putting out a fire at a commercial building that was used for storage. It happened around 11 o'clock last night in the downtown area on West Houston Street near I-10 and Commerce. Crews say a fire on a sofa spread to the second story of the building. We're told there were no stairs inside, and firefighters had to use ladders to put out some of those flames on the second story. Damages are said to be around $15,000. Investigators believe the fire was accidentally started by a group of homeless.
This morning, police say 2 men in their 40s are in the hospital fighting for their lives after an argument between the two led to a shooting. Happened around 10 last night on the west side on Mercedes near Frio City Road. We're told neighbors didn't see a gun battle between the two, but later found them laying on the ground with gunshot wounds to the chest, arms, and legs. Officers are still trying to figure out what the two were arguing about.
So many families just want to move on from the pandemic, but for many parents with children still under the age of 5 who are not yet eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine, normalcy still feels far away, and some of those children have never even seen a world without COVID. ABC's Karen Trevor reports.
It's been a challenging 2 years for parents and caregivers, but the Omicron surge has been particularly hard on the families of the nearly 20 million American kids under age 5 who still aren't eligible for the vaccine.
People don't realize that if you have a young child, you're still stuck in March 2020.
Daycares and preschools full of unvaccinated children, and just one positive case can send everyone, kids and staff, into quarantine and send parents scrambling.
I could go home from right now and I could find out that my next 10 days are wiped out.
To find out the day before, oh, your child's not going to have any daycare coverage or childcare coverage for 14 days is devastating. You had plans, you had meetings, you had deliverables, and now you can't get any of it done.
Parents told us they don't have backup care if daycare gets shut down.
We're talking about real existential threats to family survival right now, at a time when so many families thought that we had rounded the corner.
Pfizer and its partner BioNTech have submitted data to the FDA requesting authorization for their vaccine for kids as young as 6 months old. A 2-dose course could be available by the end of this month. That day can't come soon enough for stressed out parents like Erin Harbaugh.
I cannot financially, mentally, emotionally, do this much longer, and I don't really have any alternatives right now.
Experts say parents need to know it's okay to be frustrated.
You can't control this larger situation. We are in the middle of a global pandemic that does not seem to want to end.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Caught on camera, a dramatic burning rescue in Illinois, just southwest of Chicago. 2 women trapped in a burning home take a literal leap of faith with the help of 2 officers. Authorities say deputies from the Kendall County Sheriff's Office got to the scene of the burning home just before the fire department and heard calls for help. You can see the flames and smoke engulfing the whole house. The deputies were able to catch those 2 women inside, and as they jumped to safety from the second story, those 2 women survived and are being treated at a hospital.
Kendall County, Illinois, just to be clear. 642, about 55 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, continued inflation is causing an increase in prices for household goods. We'll tell you how the Fed is getting involved. Families are feeling a hit to the wallet, paying more for household items.
Right now, the Federal Reserve is scrambling to battle inflation and market turmoil. And according to a new poll, nearly 8 in 10 Americans worry it will get worse.
With the fear of high inflation, consumers may speed up purchases and demand higher wages. That change of behavior would make inflation worse.
Fed plans to raise interest rates by mid-March. The high interest rate raises the cost of borrowing on everything from mortgages to credit cards and auto loans.
The goal here is to cool down the economy by giving consumers and businesses more of an incentive to save instead.
Let's take a look at the roadways right now. At 646, we're in better shape as morning rush does get started. There's 410 at Ingram. We're seeing traffic moving through there pretty easily as we take a look around town. There's 281 at Nakoma. No problems on the roadways right now, but we are seeing that traffic is picking up. So remember to drive carefully. We did see a few problems out there on the roadways that did cause some issues for drivers. But right now, as we take a look at the map, we are seeing that, again, we are in better shape. However, we're still spotting that slowdown in the northbound lanes of 410. That's quickly improving where a crash was detected a little bit earlier this morning. But right now, as I mentioned, a lot better than where we started. And if you're traveling into San Antonio, one look at our inbound times here, still pretty much green across the board. Just remember, 24 minutes if you're traveling in 87 from Lavernia. Starting to spot a few stalls out there. So remember to check those vehicles before you hit the roadways. Mike, we spotted a few damp roads as well.
Yeah, with all the moisture out there and some of the fog. Back to the inflation real quickly. Got gas yesterday, $2.95. That was a shocker seeing that at the pump. All right, this dense fog advisory is in effect up until 9 o'clock and primarily just our eastern and southern counties. But we still have some fog even out to the west. Bernie Stage, 1.5 mile visibility, 1.25 miles, Castroville. And it's getting thicker out there to the west, but obviously the thickest is to the east. And we're going to have to watch it in and around town. A lot of fog around Austin. New Braunfels is showing some signs of fog, as well as even Randolph showing some hints of some fog. So the winter storm warning is now in effect for the Hill Country overnight and through 6 o'clock tomorrow. Could see ice accumulations on elevated surfaces up to about 1/4 inch. And that's going to be pretty much in the overnight hours and through the morning. And also those wind chills are going to be very cold, but it's going to be the ice buildup in the Hill Country that's really going to be the biggest concern. And then the winter weather advisory area, the purple shade, which was just issued. Of course, the warning replaced the watch that was in effect, but the advisory was issued along 90 and 10, does include Bexar County, and there will be a little bit of some glazing on some of the elevated surfaces, maybe a little bit of a sleet and some freezing rain mixed in. Not really any accumulation, but of course it doesn't take anything to make things slippery. And also that's going to be kind of going on even in through the mid-morning hours as far and early afternoon is a potential too, which is what computer models have now kind of shifted things a little bit further down to the south. Not by much, but a little bit makes a whole lot of difference, and also kind of kept the moisture around a little bit longer tomorrow. So there's the icing that begins tonight in portions of the hill country, and that will continue to work its way south as the colder temperatures continue to work south throughout the morning hours tomorrow. And even there in the extreme northern portion of Bexar County, that's a possibility early tomorrow morning. And like I said, the moisture wants to stick around. Computer models keep this moisture around even in through the about noontime and early afternoon, with those temperatures that are going to be just flirting right around freezing. The cold air continues again to pour southward, stays below freezing, gets below freezing in the overnight hours. It's going to be staying below freezing in the hill country, then all the way through probably about early afternoon on Friday. So an extended period in the hill country, and we're going to be again just flirting right there, right along 90 and 10 here in town. That's at the airport. So, of course, North Bexar County could be just below freezing, which is why there is that chance for some of that icing on some of the elevated surfaces. And as far as the rest of the country, we are just on the tail end of this massive, massive winter storm and ice storm that extends all the way up in toward the Great Lakes. So, yeah, a lot of travel problems up there, and even in the northern portion of the state as well. So, today, 62 at noon. Cloudy skies, going to have a lot of stubborn fog hanging around here, maybe some mist around as well. And then a couple of showers, a couple of thunderstorms going to be developing then later on this afternoon, and then going into tonight. And of course, that then changes over in the hill country, mixing in with some freezing rain and some sleet. Temperatures drop down throughout the day, a little bit of wintry mix even here in town, and then brutally cold temperatures Friday morning, Saturday morning. Still windy on Friday, so wind chills are going to be down in the teens and even single digits by Friday morning. Sarah, Mark.
Thank you, Mike. Spurs back at full strength last night. They took on the Warriors. Silver and Black holding their own against one of the best teams in the NBA. DeJounte Murray led the way with 27 points, including a 15-footer that gave the Spurs a 120-119 lead with 40 seconds left. But the Warriors managed to rally, winning this one 124-120. A heartbreaker for our Spurs. They'll try to get back in the win column tomorrow night against the Miami Heat. That game is set for 7:30 at the AT&T Center. It's 6:51, about 55 degrees.
Well, tomorrow on GMSA, we're going to be keeping you up to speed on all these wintry conditions in our area and also across the country.
Yes, that's right. Good guess on what's going on there for sure. It's got lots of problems in a big portion of the U.S. And we're going to keep you updated right here outside with live cam. The calm before the storm. We know it's going to get bitterly cold around here. So again, keep tracking the weather all day long and into tonight. We'll be back.
Coming up here on GMA, we are in the monster storm. Now there's going to be a couple of pulses, also not just snow from here in Illinois through Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio, but back to Missouri, Arkansas, even Texas. We're talking about ice, and then it all moves into the Northeast, including that freezing rain. I'm going to be tracking it all coming up right here on GMA.
Let's check on traffic at 6:55.
Stephen, big issue out there.
Big issues off 35. Right now we're looking at BAMC, where we see flumes of smoke coming from a vehicle. Just moments ago, there were flames actually I saw from the TransGuide cameras. Thankfully, first responders are out there, and looks like those flames are now out. But you can see that smoke coming from where that vehicle has been detected. Right now, traffic almost at a standstill. Drive carefully, because this will definitely impact the drive time right now. You can see that's in the northbound lanes of 35 right at Rittiman. Orange and red is starting to fill up in those lanes. Overall look at the map does show we're starting to see slowdowns in other spots of town, but this is going to be the problem right now. We're going to watch this closely and make sure to give those first responders plenty of room.
Thank you, sir. We do have some fog out there right now. Not bad here in town, but in outlying areas, especially down to the southeast. Dense fog advisory up until 9 o'clock, and temperatures are very consistent in the 50s right now. 65, couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, more rain tonight, and then that front moves in here and the cold air comes in, and we do have the winter storm warning for the hill country late tonight through the day tomorrow. Winter weather advisory here in town. There's going to be ice accumulation in the hill country, a little bit of freezing elevated surfaces here in town.
All right. To keep it right here on air and online at KSAT.com for updates.
GMA is next. GMSA at 9. We'll be back for that.